Hello and welcome back to Exchanges, the Alex Martin podcast. The following guest has loaned out hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds to churches and churches only. Kingdom Bank's very own Andrew Atkinson. You missed some of that. A little bit late, Andrew.
Yes, apologies. I've been on the south coast earlier today and got stuck in some rain on the way up.
What are we talking, Bournemouth? How south?
Eastbourne.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And Al's told me a little bit about you, but I know that you've only met once. Is that correct?
That's right. Yep.
So we actually asked the previous guest this straight off the back. Who are you and what do you do?
My name is Andrew Atkinson. I'm the head of lending at Kingdom Bank. I head up the team of managers who lend to churches and charities around the UK to buy property.
Interesting. And when did you get into that?
5 years ago, I've been with Kingdom Bank since the middle of lockdown 2020.
Were you doing the same profession before you joined Kingdom Bank?
Yes, I was with NatWest for 15 years prior to that and HSBC 11 years before that. So I've kind of started at the bottom, working on the counters in branch banking and worked up through to commercial manager and then, came across head of lending at Kingdom Bank.
Might be a silly question. Why would you go from HSBC to NatWest? What's the difference between these banks?
Good question. Yeah, well, I wanted to be in the East Midlands. My wife wanted to be near her parents and for childcare and what have you. And HSBC said I couldn't. They kept denying me to move. So NatWest came knocking and I jumped at the chance. So that was 2005.
Oh, before the banks went bust.
Yes, that was an interesting period, yes.
You learned about that in the last
I
podcast.
did, and I find it very, very interesting. So, can I call you a banker?
I've been called worse, but yes, I'll go with that.
So, as a banker in 2008, I don't know, do you know the exact day it happened? What was the date?
It happened over about a 6-week, 2-month period. So,
And then, how did it feel as a banker for that to happen? Were you like in the trenches mentally?
yes, we were very much trying to steady the ship all the time. So trying to work with customers and see them through it. But it became apparent that actually there wasn't a great deal of cash around. So it became quite awkward to lend money just because there was such everything just seemed to be clogged up. And we couldn't really get the deals through that we wanted to get through in the commercial arena as I was at the time.
So can I ask then? So was that you, people coming to asking to borrow the money and you running off to credit and saying, look, this is a good deal and literally silence? I mean, how did that work?
It was a case of many people weren't actually approaching to borrow. There wasn't the demand there. They were actively trying not to approach us. But those that we did, very few of them, in my experience, got through credit because there was just such a crunch on, and credit were being very frugal with what they were lending out at the time. So it was really interesting, actually, looking back.
Yeah, at the time, terrifying.
Absolutely.
And so who was responsible? We'll get on to more about you because this is about you, but I'm interested. Who was responsible? Could you have done anything to stop it personally?
No, because it was too big. It was a massive. I mean, it was from a banking perspective. It was across the Atlantic. It was it started back in the early 90s with the Clinton administration, who suggested that banks should lend money to anybody who wanted to buy property, be that for the Hispanic population or whoever should buy property, and we'll lend you the bank will lend you 100% of the value. Great, all good, but I can't afford to pay that loan back. Don't worry about that. We'll lend you it so you can own a property.
I guess that's why it's so hard to now get a mortgage on stuff.
It's part of the reason.
The whole other way.
Absolutely. So all these loans were kind of bagged up over time. All these kind of bad loans. Some of them were being repaid, but some of them weren't. And so they were all kind of bagged up and packaged up and sold on to another mortgage provider, like a second tier mortgage provider, along with others and what have you. And then at some point, sort of 2007, people started to look inside what was in this bag of mortgages, starting to see them going bad.
Triple Bs, triple As.
It was particularly the assets, the mortgages, and they were secured on property, but the property value was inflated because properties were going up in value daily prior to that stage. So actually, when demand falls, property prices come tumbling down, and a lot of these loans were just not secured to the value that the mortgage was.
Okay.
So it gets a little bit technical, but essentially you got to a point where the banks were sitting on lots and lots of assets, lots and lots of loans, but they weren't going to get them repaid, and so that caused the crunch, really. That, what do we do? How do we get out of this? How do we unravel? And so you had the likes of, now let me get it right, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, or was it the other way around? Who were one of the lenders involved, and they just ultimately went, well, we can't see a way out of this, and folded. And that was a big US firm.
Okay. Very, very technical.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to read any books you'd recommend reading on that subject.
You're so fascinated.
Yeah.
In the last podcast.
Because I don't get how, do you know what I don't get? I don't get how so many clever people can get it so wrong. That's what I don't understand. When you gather together millions of people that have got degrees and families and just smart people, how can they get it so wrong?
I think they get wrapped up in a bubble. They get wrapped up in this kind of snowball of things are going well, they'll continue to go well, and whilst ever they are doing, great, the snowball gets bigger.
Everyone thinks property prices go up.
Absolutely.
So the problem will go away because inflation.
Yeah. But then as things start to melt, it falls apart.
Yeah.
I'm not an avid reader, but I did read the Nick Leeson book, Rogue Trader. Different set of circumstances, but it has him chasing the losses that he's made to try and recoup them, and it's kind of a similar setup,
similar
really.
concept.
Yeah.
All right, let's pivot away from that. Let's talk about you. Why did you join Kingdom Bank? Because it's a little bit of a change, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's got a very different ethos. My background in banking, 26 years in commercial and high street banking, to move from knowing customers very, very well and knowing all your customers by the first name and that kind of thing, to moving to a national role makes it slightly more challenging. But for me, much more enjoyable, because we work for, it's a Christian bank. Everybody you speak to at the bank is a Christian. And being able to mix what I've learnt in 26 years in banking with my faith, my own personal faith, is huge. And I love being able to pull the two together and helping churches
You
buy
mentioned
buildings.
charities as well. Is it purely Christian charities?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
We have to be, because of the demand that we've seen for church mortgages in the last 5 years or so. I'll come on to that in a minute. We have to kind of, I won't say be picky, but we have to assess each borrowing customer to make sure that they are the church that we want to be lending to. So we don't lend to all denominations. We are quite specific in what we'll consider.
Bit of a bombshell for you. Hypothetic, an unbelievable opportunity arises for a synagogue. Do you get busy, or do you just say no? Stick to my rules, essentially.
Yeah, it wouldn't be one for us at this time.
So who do you then? Sorry to interrupt. Who do you then refer to that? Do you have friends in the business? Do you help out competition for that? If someone.
Yeah, we can point them to others in the faith market. So other faith-based lenders.
Do you want to plug anyone? I mean, or no chance.
There are a few out there.
Yeah.
There's not many,
Yeah.
but we do deal with when it's something we can't do, the likes of, say, Reliance Bank, who will consider faith-based.
Reliance Bank.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. Okay, interesting. Al told me, because Al was singing your praises this morning, he told me that you came in 5 years ago, which you mentioned, What was the figure
I
that
may
they
have got
did?
the numbers wrong, but
7?
I was like, you have like a book value of about 7 million, and you've taken it up to like 300 million in 5 years.
How'd
am
you
I
do
way
that?
out?
Close. Yeah, we.
Is that like what Al says about your football score for the last 8 years?
It's actually 20 million.
Yeah.
But thank
We started at about end of 2019. We're about 46, 47 million as a loan book for the bank, and this year we were anticipating that being about 120.
Okay.
Oh.
So
Tripled.
it has grown quite significantly.
And you are you a big part to play in that? You know, boost your ego yourself a little bit. Can you say that you were a massive involvement in that?
It's a team game. I head up a team.
Humble, very humble.
Maybe a bit too humble.
I like it.
It's down to the team. It's no one individual. We work as a team.
Yeah.
So,
But did you come in? What was it? 7 million when you came in?
no, 40,
Yeah, I got it
about
right.
47, 46, 47.
Okay. All right. But you
Triple.
come in and you triple it.
Yeah.
There's obviously a direct correlation there. Give yourself some
Okay,
credit.
and before you, was it always 40 odd million?
It was fairly static,
Okay.
but the main thing that changed was in March 2020, the bank got some new investors. So there was a group of Christian entrepreneurs and Stewardship Bank who came along and invested in the bank and gave us the capital to grow. Without that, we'd have probably still been,
So
a
I have
similar
in my
level.
head Stewardship as a completely separate entity to you. So
They are.
and they're out there heavily lending.
Mm-hmm.
So are they your parent or is it vice versa? How does that work?
So they're one of the shareholders of the bank through a holding company.
Okay, so who's the bigger boy?
I think I've not looked at Stewardship's balance sheet recently, but I think we have more in assets, more in lending than they do.
Okay.
But historically they've done the bigger stuff. As we've grown, we're now doing bigger loans directly. So
How many employees at Kingdom Bank?
it's about 55 now. There were about 25 when I started.
How many at Stewardship now? I'm really
That I don't
comparing.
know.
Can banks be public limited companies? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So Kingdom Bank public.
No, we're a private limited company.
And if you, what's the? Sorry, again, we're getting a bit businessy here. We're less about you. But why would a bank become public?
I think if it wanted to grow significantly and attract bigger but potentially smaller more but potentially smaller shareholders, that would be the situation. Then they'd be traded on the open market, and the shares would, as they do with the likes of RBS and NatWest Group as they are now, and Barclays and HSBC, their shares are traded on the stock market. Ours aren't. Ours are just private.
Any scope for that?
individuals. I don't think there's any plans to at the minute. I think we'll keep it small and local.
What? So, and why have you grown so much? All right, putting your modesty aside, okay. Kingdom Bank and some of the other smaller charity banks, they're notoriously slow. Okay, I love you because I can ring you up and I'll say, mate, what's going on? It can be a WhatsApp, and you may not come back immediately, but you'll come back within 48 hours and say, this is what's going on, and that's what I need. I need that control. So, do you think, is that just because I've got a good relationship with you, or do you think the whole process internally has changed and sharpened its game?
I think, I think a little bit of both. For me, we're in a contact game, and I think if you ignore contact, it isn't it isn't good to getting a deal through.
Okay.
Be that from the agent, be that from the customer, be that from the solicitor, anybody. And I think if you have some news, you send it out there. Or if you haven't got news, you try and find out what the answer is to the question so that you can respond. Without responding, things grind to a halt and things fall over.
But where I get frustrated, I'm not going to mention the bank, but the church, the seller has said to me, look, I need some comfort. And so I said to the church, I want to speak to the bank manager or their relationship manager and find out what's going on, and then I can give that comfort. And he didn't want to speak. And then I've seen some very generic emails which he's sharing with me. And I know if I rang you, I just want you to say, mate, it will probably happen. I've got to see the numbers, but I feel good about it. But their emails are like, it's with this party, we're waiting on this information, we've got to go and talk to credit, but there's nothing that I can spin or put on. I can't spin it. I can't provide any comfort to the client. And I can look with my very basic knowledge and say, well, the turnover looks good enough and they've got that deposit. I just need someone with a bit of authority to say that, and they won't do it. It kills me. So,
and that's not how it should be. It should be very much a case of.
And it was a national bank, by the way, rather than someone specialist.
Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a huge amount of time.
Yeah.
And okay, in a big national bank, you've probably not got anybody direct that you can talk to with that authority, who can look at something and go, yeah, I think credit will be comfortable with this. In a niche bank, we're not huge. So if I want to talk to credit, I walk across the office and I talk to them. It's not a case of it has to go off on a system and wait for it to come back.
But that relationship's important, even for us when we have someone bidding on a building, and if they say, oh, they're going through Andrew Atkinson at Kingdom Bank, we're automatically a little bit more comfortable because we're like, at least you can have that conversation with you, and it just helps the process.
They're not
Great.
dreaming.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
How many different type of Christian faiths are there? Am I being? Is that a stupid question?
No, it's not. Honestly, it's not.
It's not. We are always finding different strands of.
Because I read that you only need 5 people to start a religion.
Possibly.
Where did you read that?
I saw that.
Matt.
No. I'm interested. Where did you read it?
I can't remember where I read it, but what are you laughing at? All right, forget what I just said. So there are many different, or is it 10, 15?
Yeah, well, we're always finding different strands of the Christian religion, and we can't support them all. So there are some that sort of say, for example, we believe in the teachings of a particular person, as opposed to believing in the Bible.
Is it when you're looking at that and thinking, can I lend to this person? Is there a place where there's like a governance thing that you can read, or is it a case of getting on the internet and just seeing what they're preaching?
That's it, really. We are trying to, as a bank, pull something together that says, actually, if it's this side, it's fine. If it's this side, it's not. But it's an ever-evolving list.
Okay.
And it's
pretty complicated.
It is, and it wasn't something that I'd appreciated at all when I joined the bank. And I think when, as far as I knew, when joining the bank, in the village I grew up in, there were 4 churches, and I thought there were 4 religions. I thought there was Christianity, there was Catholicism, because there was a Catholic church, there was a Methodist church, and there was a URC church, and they were the 4 that I knew.
And what's a Pentecostal?
So the Pentecostal is slightly more, would typically be, might be from an African origin. So you might
do a
have,
lot of penties, don't you?
I do.
Is that rude to call them penties?
No, it's fine. They like to make a lot of noise.
They do make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And that's not my background. I'm very much from a church where the church that I grew up in, I was a member of the choir there, and worked up through the choir to kind of not be the choir master. That was somebody else's job.
You used to sing.
I still do. But to be there to kind of fall back on in case the choir master wasn't there.
By the way, at the end, we're going to get you to sing.
Oh,
Oh, are you?
100%.
Oh, I'm so. I've got any windows.
Is it Kumbaya?
Is that the only hymn you know?
Yeah. Do you go every Sunday?
I try to get as often as I can, but it's not every Sunday. But I sing in a couple of other choirs now.
Do you know the Bible off the top of your head?
Not every verse.
Not every verse.
Have you got anywhere recorded you singing so we can drop it into the pod?
There's quite a few on YouTube.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
You don't look like you've got the chords, but I feel like in the
Don't
right
judge a
sort.
book by
Yeah,
its
that's what I'm
cover.
saying. You obviously do. If you were going to aim to be the master,
Well, yeah.
is that the?
Yeah, well, I do that
The
with one of the
conductor.
choirs I'm in.
Do you know Al's a really good singer as well?
I know, yeah. There you
So
go,
how-
we've got a future choir going already.
How have you only run into each other once? Because he's in churches all the time.
You're in Nottingham? Where was it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Nottingham.
right.
So I had to have an excuse to go Nottingham.
Right.
Right. Well,
What, you're still in Nottingham?
I'm still in Nottingham. That's right. But we have we've spoken hundreds of times
Yeah.
prior to meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah,
Interesting. So, in your office is in Nottingham as well?
it is.
Interesting.
but we deal nationwide. So England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland.
Is it?
I was
Sorry,
going to say, so, all right, other than looking kind of at the governance and what they're about, you've got an interested party. Go and talk through them, what you do, what's your role.
Yeah.
You're going to have to look at the bill. Go on, explain what
Yeah.
you have to do. You're about to loan some money.
So when I get a proposal, we'll have a look at the accounts to see if something's affordable within the parameters that we can lend. That might be me or one of the team. But if it's in the parameters of what we can lend, then the logistics of it are then that we'll provide, if needed, a kind of letter of support or an AIP, so the customer can provide some proof to somebody like yourself that actually the bank are on board with this idea. Then once an offer's accepted, then we start work on an actual application and who is this church, who's involved, what do they want to do, is it looking at the numbers in detail, is it viable? Because with an AIP, it's kind of a headline figures, a quick kind of look at, and does it look okay? If there's anything that jumps out, we might question it at that stage. But when getting to application stage, we kind of get into the nitty gritty. And it typically
often that initial letter, then you go into nitty gritty, and it's like, we bit off more than we could chew. Or is that?
I've not come across that yet. No, because whilst we look at headline figures, because we're looking at accounts day in, day out, we kind of know if something stands out. So we like to see things kind of improving, but in terms of the income into a church, and if it isn't, so if it's going down, then that's a bit of a red flag. What's happening, and where's the bottom? Where's it going to stop, and why is it going down? So understanding that sort of thing. So if we've got one where we can't support, we'll say fairly early on that we can't support it because we're wasting everybody's time in stringing it along to not get anywhere ultimately. Can
I say you've never not delivered when I needed you to deliver, which is fantastic. So thank you. Okay. But although you're, in my opinion, the boss of the firm, you're not the final decision maker. So tell us about credit, because we're always worried about credit, aren't we?
We are. Now, we've got a really good relationship with the credit guys. We do a lot of it in-house. The majority of the stuff we do in-house with our immediate team, as in the risk guys and the numbers guys who make our credit department. If it's above their authority, then we have to send it up to the board. So the directors will look at things and say, yes, this is one for us, or actually no, it isn't. Now, I've not come across one that's got a bigger one that's gone up to them where they've said, actually no, this isn't one for us. So
okay, so are you saying when you put it forward, you've got 100% track record?
Yes.
That's
so
pretty
far.
Impressive. That's pretty impressive. Okay, it's good to know.
And so you worked for HSBC NatWest. These churches can go to them for a loan. Why would they go to you, being Kingdom Bank?
Great question. The customer I've been to see today down in Eastbourne, we're refinancing them. They own a building already and are mortgaged through a high street lender. Their words to me were, they don't get us. They don't understand us. They provided us this mortgage, but we now want an extension to it to do some more work to the property, and they just haven't got a clue how to go about doing it. They don't know. They don't get church.
Right. But do these big corporate companies not have specialists?
Mm-hmm.
Not for church.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
But that's surely high demand. I mean, some of the numbers that you're talking, why wouldn't they have a church office or have a synagogue office, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't need it now.
Even from our point of view, people call us and say, do you know anyone that we can speak to? And we say, speak to Kingdom Bank. And they say, oh, do they know about church? And I say, that's literally their business model. And they get so excited about it. And
and churches love speaking to people who understand church. And like I say, the high street don't. It's not big business for them. If they were going to lend 30 million this year, like we are, which is a 600% increase on what we did in 2020, they'd go, well, it's 30 million. It's not big, so they wouldn't be that interested in it. I don't think.
Do you think your Christian faith and belief has helped with bonding and understanding them and getting them from A to B to C. One of my biggest issues, but it's always joked about, I have a lot of patience. Yeah, it's understanding what they think and the hurdles to go through and where they're going to go has reaped me massive rewards. Same for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think understanding what the church wants to do, how it wants to do it, why it wants a building in that particular area, and that might be because its mission. They feel the mission is there of the church. You know, that there's a big problem that they feel they can solve, and by planting in a particular area, that will allow them to do that. So I think understanding why they would want to do something particular.
Or a standard bank manager just doesn't get it. It's just numbers on a spreadsheet to
That's
them.
right, absolutely. Yeah. They're literally looking, and the customer today, they wanted to borrow about an extra $100,000 to do some work at their property with an existing mortgage that they've got already, and they approached their bank manager and didn't hear. And the only time they heard from the bank manager was when they said that they're leaving and moving to ourselves.
So does personality matter? So you're hearing the mission and all the rest of it. So you step away from the spreadsheets and you're like, okay, if they get this building, the turnover doesn't stack now, but I can see if they get in there, they can make it work, and they can. So there is a bit of wiggle room for them.
Yeah, absolutely. We look forwards as a bank. We look forwards. What's happened in the past shows a picture.
Yeah.
But if it's such that the numbers are a little short, then can the church raise additional money from the members of their church on a regular basis to support that mortgage? And if they can, then we can have a look at that.
Where you surprised me within the last 12 months, I've always worked on the principle, look, it doesn't have F1 consent. No bank is going to lend you the money. And you were willing to look beyond that, provided the church wasn't at risk. And there was, all right, they can hold it. There's a value there with this existing use. It doesn't affect the congregation. They're not going to be made homeless. I can cook that for a period of time and I will lend the money. But as long as you could see they weren't too exposed. And that really, really impressed me. And I didn't think you would do that until the last 12 months.
Yeah, it's we look at it as on a kind of jigsaw piece, really.
Yeah.
That's one of the pieces of the jigsaw that is important because they're buying it to use as a church, so it needs to have Class F1. If it doesn't, then what's the likelihood of getting it? And as many mitigants as we can get to say yes, that'll be okay. It might just take, a month or 6 weeks or 3 months to achieve that. Then if everything else is okay, if they can use the building, just not necessarily for worship, if they can use it for other things initially, then
it's so important. I live in a world where these F1 buildings are unicorns. You can't find them.
Yeah.
So if someone can think outside the box and say, okay, they need to take, there's an educated risk there, but they can do it, and that's fantastic. Not just with what I think you get with the national banks. It's just a box ticking exercise, and they won't go there.
Absolutely.
What do you think happens when we die, Andrew?
Wow.
How have we gone from that?
No, this is why we love him. He's a genius at these things.
For me, I think we face the ultimate question of, was I a good person? Did I do what God put me on this earth to do? Because if I can say yes, and I've said sorry for the things that I've not done right, then He'll stand there and go, okay, then, yeah, you're in. I hope that's the case.
Yeah. You think you get judged for all of your sins?
Yeah.
You think you're a good bloke?
I hope so.
So, for
I'm
example,
not perfect.
For example, someone that's been to prison for murder, right? But then they come out and they're an unbelievable person. They've completely changed. Is that person going to go to hell or heaven?
If they have said sorry for what they've done and are truly sorry for what they've done in front of God, i.e. they've repented of their sins, then the Bible tells us that that's good.
Yeah.
That's one person who has turned from being a bad person into a good person. Now, can a leopard change its spots? That's probably a separate question. But if I have met people through a charity that I dealt with when I was with NatWest,
Mm.
who rehabilitated people in just that situation. They'd come out of prison with an addiction. They may have been in prison for drugs offences, for assault, worse, and we're talking people who have committed some awful things, and they have turned into Christians and actively go to church.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not the judge as to whether they are good people or not, but my belief is that they will be judged on the day of atonement to say, well, actually, they've said sorry for what they've done.
Mm.
They've truly meant it, so they're in.
Do you feel sorry for people that don't believe in God?
Everybody has their own view and their own belief. I don't feel sorry for them. For me, I don't think they've necessarily got a full life, but that's everybody's belief. To them, their life might be full as it is. And
So you don't judge?
Not at all.
Right. Do you believe in God?
I have a faith, but not necessarily a specific religion.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't think so.
You don't think
I've
so?
never really engaged that much in religion. I just don't. Not really.
In a few weeks, we are going to get a heavyweight pastor on who is literally the GOAT. Yeah. And I am going to love just sitting back watching you ask these questions. Yeah.
I've got like a weird relationship with God. I do believe in God, and I do believe in an afterlife. And I started praying every single night before I go to bed, but it's almost become, rather than I feel like I'm actually talking to someone, it's become sort of like an OCD thing,
Right.
where it's like I say it at the end of every day, and I know that like when I say that, my day's finished. But I just say it for the sake of saying it now, I think. And I don't know if there actually is anyone listening to me,
He's always listening.
You reckon? Do you reckon he's there?
He's everywhere. He's omnipresent.
Omnipresent?
Yeah. I mean, he's everywhere. He's wherever you are, he is.
I want to meet him.
Maybe
You
we'll
will
do
one day. Yeah.
And
yet.
so we're getting a little bit religious here. What do you think heaven looks like?
Oh, good question. That's yeah.
Bloody parade.
in the 95th minute, just as we're about to get promoted to League One. What does heaven look like? I think it's.
Do you think it's like really white? Like really
Amazing.
bright?
Like the films that you watch.
Yeah,
just-
like Heaven Almighty. That type
honestly,
of thing.
my opinion is it's beyond whatever our comprehension is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
It's what it is.
It's beyond
Wait.
beauty.
Beyond beauty.
It's a good phrase. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to go. No, I don't want to go yet. I could talk about this for so long. But I presume that you come from a very religious family.
We went to church as kids. Me and my brother. My brother's 5 years older than I am. And as young kids, and I'm talking sort of 4 or 5, we went to church every Sunday. And we got bored.
I was going to say, did you think, church?
Yeah, we didn't really get anything from it at that age. You'd go to Sunday school, and you'd come out with a painting that you'd drawn of something, and that was it. It'd go on the fridge, and that was the extent of my church life. My brother, 5 years older, got involved in football on a Sunday morning and started going to that, and I started it as well. So church kind of took a back step, and then in 1984-85, big Bradford City fan, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
I went in 1985. I went to to Valley Parade where Bradford City playing Lincoln City in May 1985, and the stand caught fire.
Oh,
Now
shit.
I was in the stand behind the goal, and the stand that caught fire was down the right hand side of the pitch as I was looking at the pitch.
Oh, my, you were there.
I was there, and 56 people died. that
Oh, have
day.
you ever seen that?
Yeah, I have.
It is horrendous.
It was
Absolutely
bad.
horrendous.
All started from a cigarette, didn't it?
With the belief so, a discarded cigarette, yeah.
Mental
Yeah.
how quick fire can spread.
Yeah, so just before half time, standing on the cot behind the goal, I saw this kind of smoke and a little orange flame. And 3 minutes later, the stand was alight. I saw things that day that a 9-year-old shouldn't see. Horrendous things. And I think with hindsight, nowadays you'd have counselling and you'd have input from professionals and what have you. In the 80s, we didn't have that. My mum and dad kind of said, I was there with my dad and my brother, but in the 80s, my mum and dad kind of said to me after the event, "Are you okay? Anything you want to talk about?" Not really. I was fine. I just kind of got on with it.
Was there things deep down that you did want to talk about?
Probably, because what I used to do after school, I went to school in the village where I grew up, and after school I would, like I say, age 9, I'd go home. Instead of going straight home, I'd go down to the church that we used to go into as little kids, which was in the opposite direction. But I'd just go and sit there for, might be 10 minutes, might be half an hour, might be an hour, just in an empty church. Nobody there. Nobody knew I was going. There was nobody in the church particularly. I'd just go and sit. And over the course of about, probably, I'm guessing, a few weeks, I kind of felt that whatever was troubling me and it wasn't outwardly troubling me, it was just there. I just felt at peace in the church, like things were being sorted out. I wasn't getting any answers. It's not like I had a beam of light shining on me and saying, "Andrew, everything's going to be okay." It literally just felt like things were.
Is the right word safe? Just there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Do you think, not to discredit your story, do you think that could be placebo?
I don't know, but I know that after the summer, so it was the last game of the season was the Fire, and when they went back to a temporary ground in the August it'll have been, I didn't want to go back. Didn't want to go back to watch football. But I did say to my mum and dad, I want to go back to church.
Oh, wow.
I want to start going back to church. And they were like, "Great, off we go."
Wow.
So we'll be there this Sunday.
Oh, my God.
And so then I started to feel at home in church. And I wasn't kind of, dancing in the aisles and that kind. It wasn't that kind of a church. It was, but I just felt comfortable being in the church at that time.
It's a great story.
It's looking back, and it was 40 years ago this year. The Fire, it was awful, but out of it came me.
So
Me as I am.
that's another question I was going to ask you. Do you think that everything happens for a reason?
I think everything happens in God's timing. When He says it's going to happen, it'll happen. That's the same with me being a Christian. That's the same with a property purchase. That's the same with me joining Kingdom Bank. Whatever. It's a case of actually, the things happen because, to me, God says, "Yeah, it's time."
Because
Sorry,
go on.
I was going to ask then, from that experience, and you're a family man, how's that been bringing up your own kids, and how important has that been for them in their upbringing?
Yeah, they've all got faith. They've always been encouraged to follow faith. It's not to say they always have done and always will, but they all have a faith and are comfortable with it. So
Do they go to church regularly?
the youngest one does,
Okay.
because my other half is a family and children minister at our local church. So that's what she
Okay,
does,
yeah.
as part of a couple of other things. But her main goal each week is to look after families and children in our church.
Okay.
Reverting back to what we were just saying, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Pardon the pun. And
what is about to come out of your mouth?
no, this is a good question.
There you go.
See, I am a believer that everything happens for a reason, and one day everything will make sense. What I can't make sense of is why babies are dying of cancer, or why that Bradford thing happened. What are your thoughts on that?
Why do wars happen? Why there's some bad people in the world? Why are they there? Are things there to test us? I don't know. Are they there to show us that actually, no matter what happens, everything's going to be all right? I don't know. I've not got. I'm not as deeper theologian
Right.
to be able to say, oh well, it's because of this.
Yeah.
But there'll be somebody far more qualified when you've got a pastor sitting here.
Okay, yeah.
In
maybe
a
I'll
couple of
leave it.
weeks,
Yeah.
ask him that.
This past the podcast is going to be.
Oh, it's going off. Okay, let's revert back to business. So you've loaned out a lot of money, done very, 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 very well. Where'd you go from here? What's next? What's on the horizon?
Have you? Are you aiming for 100 million loan book, or where are you going with it?
We are. We just want to grow.
Yeah.
We've doubled the size of the bank in 4 years.
Yeah.
And we want to do it again. So we would love a loan book of 250 million in the next
Nice figure.
in the next 5 years.
That is not a bad figure.
Aren't you turning 50 this year?
Beginning of next.
He said that he was 9 at the Bradford thing, and then he said it was 40 years ago this year. So.
Oh,
You want to be congratulated on your math?
yeah.
No,
well done, mate.
I was
Very
actually
perceptive.
I was thinking about it, and then I thought,
Yeah.
turning 50 this year.
Yeah, that's right.
Jesus, you're getting old. Yeah, I'm joking.
know.
That was a joke.
Well, no, do you know how old Al is?
He did tell me, but I didn't believe him.
Yeah.
72.
Thanks, man.
Okay, so that's great. 250 million is a nice, big, fat number. And here's a question that might sound stupid again. If you're loaning money on behalf of the bank, how are you making money? Are you on a base salary? Do you get commission?
Don't get commission. I get paid the same every month, whether we lend or not. So it very much works. The bank obviously make a bit of money on interest from lending out on mortgages. We try to be the most competitive that we can be, and we give a little bit of that interest back to savers. So a little bit, we give enough back to savers so that they keep their money with us, so that we can continue to lend.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword. You don't want to have massively extortionate interest rates that borrowers have to pay, and then pay tiny interest rates to savers, because the model would fall over. So we have to pay a fair rate on savings and give a fair rate on.
I've never thought about it, but in terms of people, if I wanted to save at Kingdom Bank, am I allowed, unless I prove I'm a Christian, or can it be anybody?
Anybody can save with us.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody can save with us. We have a lot of churches
Yeah.
and members who go to those churches who save.
Got
with
it.
us.
Is that structure in terms of salaries, is that the same at high street banks as well?
In my experience, yes. Although I've been out of the high street game for sort of 5 years, but yeah, they're not generally commissioned as far as I'm aware. Not on the kind of more traditional roles. They may be different on the kind of financial advisor roles and what have you.
And knowing that you've got a ceiling in terms of salary, this is personal. Do you ever struggle with motivation to keep on going, especially if you're seeing millions and millions and millions of pounds going out of the business? Do you not ever think, it's a mil? Is that stupid?
No, you hang around with too many entrepreneurs. That's yeah.
You could have worded it slightly better, but I don't understand what you're saying.
Sorry.
For me, no. I think the reward that I get, the pay I get, is fair, and I don't necessarily do it to be rewarded for the more work that I do.
Yeah.
I'm there to help, to facilitate a church buying a building.
You can see you get joy from it if you do a deal.
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
see
I
how
love
happy they are. Yeah, you're a good guy.
Does it upset you that so many churches are sort of going out of business? I'm seeing churches all over the place, abandoned, derelict. No one's going to church anymore.
Yeah.
Why?
In certain denominations, that's very much the case. There's a lot of churches that are closing. What's pleasing is that we're dealing with churches that are growing. So the evangelical churches that we deal with are bringing new people to faith on a weekly basis.
How big's your book? What's the percentage of your book from the Pentecostal evangelicals to your more, I'm going to say, white church, the Orthodox?
Good question. It's probably, the vast majority is evangelical Pentecostal.
Yeah.
I would think it's got to be, I haven't got a specific figure, 80% plus.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Probably-
that's
probably
how
more
I
than that.
feel.
Yeah.
It's
It's now the same.
Yeah, I do. Every now and again, we'll get some Greek Orthodox church or someone, and it's like, okay, you're different, and they've got real substance and weight, and they own buildings. But generally, it's the Pentecostals and evangelicals. Yeah.
And what was I just? I had a really interesting question. Why have you two not done any work together? That's what I was going to say.
So, well, we do.
I mean, could you not do any business? Is there no possible way that you'd cross over?
Al will find a deal, and then they'll go to Andrew for the funding.
Oh, you have done
we do
business?
loads. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought you said you haven't done any yet.
No, not at all. We talk every day, literally.
Oh, really?
I mean, maybe not talk, but WhatsApp. There's a WhatsApp every few days. What's going on with this one? There's always at least one, and often 3 or 4 things going on at any one time.
Sometimes I'll throw at you. Can you ask Andrew about this one or that one?
Yeah.
And do you ever be honest here? Do you ever pivot towards any competitors?
No, my issue. There are competitors out there, and I have relationships. My preference to keep everybody happy is to potentially run through brokers that I know.
Yeah.
So my question to you would be, is your preference to deal directly with the church, or is your preference to deal with a broker who then knows? I understand dealing with a bunch of trustees, how that can slow stuff down, and you're educating. You go to a broker who knows his stuff, he will produce the document that you need straight away. So is your preference dealing with a broker, or is it dealing with the principal?
We tend to find that if going through a broker, because if a broker knows the specifics and knows how the church works and knows what we need, then yes, it can speed things up. If they don't, and we've got to send something to the broker for them to go to the trustees to get the information back to the broker to then come back to us, that can slow things down.
Yeah, it's an extra cog, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to have someone who knows it. And I agree with you. There are brokers they're probably experienced in residential and they haven't got a clue, but they're a friend of a trustee or something, and they're absolutely useless.
Yeah.
So if someone knows what they're doing, then I think it's a far better route to walk.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. We do tend to find going direct with the trustees is generally quicker.
Yeah.
Unless you've got, and I do have a couple of good brokers on the books. Got an email off one this morning, as it happens.
Okay. Do you want to do a plug?
A guy called Stephen Derbyshire. I used to work with him at NatWest.
Okay.
And knows his stuff. Really good guy. Knows the world very, very well.
The broker.
His name must be tough to look up and find him.
I was going to say the
Stephen
broker
in Derbyshire.
The broker I know is going to want that edited out now. He's going to want his plug. That's Daniel Sovic.
Yeah, of course. Daniel, we know Daniel. Daniel's really good.
Good guy. So knows his stuff.
And does a lot of church stuff.
Yeah.
So
he does.
Yeah, really good guy too. Yeah. No, and he's been sat here as well.
Yes,
In that exact seat.
Yeah.
You've been doing your research.
Oh, yes.
I never actually asked, how did your paths first cross?
I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. I think I picked up the phone and said, or we exchanged some emails and said, let's go and have a lunch or something. And then when we sat opposite each other, you're like, mate, your name comes up all the time. I was like, okay, I'm doing something right.
Is every church you speak to know Alex?
Pretty much. If it's in the southeast, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I actively say if a church is looking to move from their premises to buy another, you need to talk to Alex, because Alex has got the contacts.
Yeah. Oh, you two are cute. You know, his face is on billboards now.
I've seen that now, yes.
Yeah, he's going up. And he was in Forbes.
This is all his fault. Yeah, he's literally, look, there's a lot of love and trust between the two of us. And I hate it. I really do. But he's like, Alex, just let me do what I do best. And I'm just trusting in him.
He deserves, I'm going to get a little bit all soppy here again, but he deserves for people to, he deserves the recognition, you know?
Yeah. I'm tearing up here.
And let's hope that you can forever do business together. Do you know anyone else that works at Kingdom Bank? Or do you
not
just go
well.
straight
Yeah,
to-
Kirsty is someone, she's been there forever though, hasn't she?
She has. She's been there about 15 years now.
Yeah.
But
I've got no issues with Kirsty, but you're the man who came in there and honestly, you streamlined it, and I can now get stuff through. You're amazing.
Yeah,
Good,
when that opportunity came up to work at Kingdom Bank, did you just hear? Was it word of mouth? Because that fits you to a T.
Yeah, it does. Well, the interesting thing is, it was a week into lockdown, so it was April Fool's Day, as it happens. In the morning, I got a phone call from a guy at Christian Jobs, a recruitment agency I'd not heard of. phoned me on my work mobile and said, we've got a job at Kingdom Bank. Now, I'd heard of Kingdom Bank because one of my colleagues who I used to work at NatWest with had gone to Kingdom Bank, but that was as much as I knew. I didn't know where they were. I knew they were somewhere around Nottingham, but not specifically. I didn't know what they did. And so this job at Kingdom Bank as a head of lending, would you be interested? Or more specifically, can you think of anybody who'd be suited to that role? And I went, I don't know. I'll have a think. I'll come back to you and have a think about anybody in the team who might be suitable for it. And I spoke to my other half at lunchtime and said, I had a call off a recruiter this morning for somebody as a head of lending at a bank called Kingdom Bank in Nottingham. And she went, oh, that'd be great for you. So no, I'm not thinking for me because it's too high up for me. I couldn't do that job. But can you think of anybody who you've worked with in the bank? She used to work for the bank as well, who'd be good for it. And she went, you. You're mad what you're playing at. You.
Did you start during COVID?
Yes, I started in July 2020.
What, you had a little bit of a lay back for a few months, chilled out?
No, it was a busy time. Of course, COVID, customers were closed, not knowing what was going to happen. I was working 12, 14-hour days at the time just to answer phone calls, return emails, all that kind of thing. It was mad. It was mad. So I worked up until the end of June and then started on the 1st of July 2020.
And never looked back.
Never looked back.
Andrew, you good at paddle?
No, I'm not.
What?
I've only got one eye.
What?
Yeah, this eye doesn't work. So I can't judge distance.
Are you blind? Half blind?
In this eye, yeah.
Fully, you can't see anything.
I've got 10% vision in it.
What?
Yeah.
Did something happen?
I got measles as a kid.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh my God, it looks so normal.
Yeah, well, it does everything it should.
So do that?
That's
the other
fine. Do that, and I can see you're wearing a blue shirt, and there's something here, but shaking
How
colours.
interesting.
Does that affect you? Can you drive? Are you right to drive with one eye?
Yeah, as long as nobody gets in my way, I'm absolutely fine.
So you're legally blind?
No, man.
No.
No, you can see.
out.
Yeah, I can see out of this eye perfectly well.
He's legally half blind.
Yeah.
Legally? Oh, so
I've
you
just
can't-
got when I come up to a roundabout, for example, or a junction, I've just got to make sure I turn my head because if I just glance like anybody else would,
Can you feel it?
oh yeah, it does everything it should. It reacts to light and it moves and all that kind of thing.
What's measles? I hear that.
Kind of
Worms,
spots.
spots.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought that they were invited to play.
No. Now you're causing problems.
Am I?
Yeah, no. So we're about to do a paddle tournament with a few
Okay.
clients, yeah, and we were going to ask you. Charity Bank are going to come on, and
Oh,
I was
okay.
going to go pay-per-view for Charity Bank versus Kingdom Bank. I thought there'll be people tuning in for that.
Well, that would just be well out of order to play against someone that's half blind.
Yeah, could
That
you put
was-
a
I
bell in the
didn't
ball
know.
or something?
Oh, so yeah, you're ruled out.
Yeah.
So can you
I can't play anything that moves at speed.
really?
Yeah.
So what
So-
can
You're
you
good
play?
at Monopoly?
Oh, I'm great at Monopoly.
Yeah.
I'm great at chess.
Yeah.
You play golf?
Golf? I don't have time. I've got 4 kids. I've got, a church life. I've got a music life. I've got a home life.
You support Bradford?
And I support. So when have I got time to walk around a golf course?
How old are your kids?
The eldest is 22, 19, 15, and 11.
Good spread.
Who's your favourite?
It's not recorded.
They're all no, never.
Oh, everyone's got a favourite.
No, they're all
They
brilliant in
don't.
their own way.
Wait
they're
till
all
you have
brilliant.
children.
My
have a
mum's got a favourite. It's
No.
me.
Yeah, she does love you, doesn't she?
You don't have a favourite?
No chance.
I'm also the favourite.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's surprising
Get
actually.
away. I know it is surprising because I'm the worst son, but I get away with murder.
And kids, they change your life.
Before my eldest was born, people would say to me that just that. Oh, when you get children, they'll change your life. God, does it ever? Yeah, massively. Your outlook on life is just turned upside down because suddenly you've got this little thing to look after.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned about having kids?
Listen to them and be there for them.
And so, Andrew, why are you asking?
do you mean? I'm just asking.
Matt wants to have a kid very
Oh.
soon.
Yeah, well, not too soon, but
Well,
next couple of years.
change your life.
Yeah. I like that advice. Listen to them and be there for them. Yours?
No, I think that's great.
Well, give me your own.
I haven't got one.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Last couple of questions. What would you like to be remembered for?
Ooh. Doing a good job and being a nice person,
Great
I
answer.
think.
I didn't get your bucket list though.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
true.
bucket list. What would be on my bucket list? I'd quite like to go in a Formula One car.
Mm.
That would be fun, you know.
Okay.
And I...
Requires a lot of neck strength, apparently.
Yes. That's all right. I can work on that.
You get
He doesn't have to do the whole race. Just have
Yeah.
a little go. Yeah.
Get in it. Yeah.
just do one lap.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'd quite enjoy that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Are you
used
an
to-
F1 fan then?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I don't get a chance to watch as
Yeah.
much of it as I'd like, but yeah, I do enjoy it.
Ferrari?
Yes, they're all right. I think the teams as they've evolved, they've become, I won't say very very similar, but that you don't get much difference in each race.
Right.
You know, you tend to get the same ones winning each time.
Yeah.
For a handful of seasons, then it'll change.
Verstappen.
Yeah, to whoever, to somebody else. A few years ago, of course, it was Lewis and McLaren and what have you, but now it might be Red Bull, it might be, you know, Mercedes, whatever. So there's all these different parameters. They kind of ebb and flow to the teams.
You're the first person I've ever met that likes F1.
I
I
don't
feel like
mind
you either
it.
love it
I-
or
I
hate
don't-
it.
I hate it.
I don't. I find it's a cross between sport and business because it's all money focused.
Well, it's like golf
yeah,
and football.
it's fascinating.
I just don't understand. Last season, I watched some of the races. Verstappen won every single
Yeah.
one. What is the
Yeah.
point?
But then it's about what happens further down there.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
who's vying for second or third, or
Yeah.
what happens in the
But
pits.
who
you know.
cares who's flying for second?
And then if it rains,
yeah.
And this whole Horner situation has been a bit.
yeah, yes,
Spice Girl guy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, naughty boy, I heard. Bit of a naughty boy. So the only thing on your bucket list is to get in an F1 car?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind going for a spin around Silverstone in one of those.
Yeah.
Um,
About a country to visit.
yeah, you know, weirdly, we had this discussion at the weekend, and I can't say there's anywhere particular that I'd like to go. I wouldn't mind going to Sri Lanka.
Interesting.
That would be quite a nice place to go.
Nigeria?
Never thought about it. Would consider it. South Africa, but you know,
Bit dangerous.
yeah,
Yeah, but you can do it's not
Do the
like
touristy stuff.
safari or Barrier Reef or Gran Canaria. You know, just
yeah. There's loads of stuff to do in this country.
yeah.
You seem to me like you're just pretty happy with
He
what
is a
you've got.
happy, content soul, isn't he? He really is.
I like it.
Yeah, I love it too.
I don't yearn to do anything particularly special.
Can I just say, we met before and we had a brief conversation. What's he about? You know, what we're going to talk about? I haven't got a lot of questions. I went, mate, he's just a lovely fella. It's going to flow, and it has flown.
Yeah. It's been great chatting to you.
Thank
You
you.
enjoyed
Yeah,
yourselves.
I have. It's been great.
Thank you so much for coming on. You are the man.
Good to see you. Thank
God
you.
bless.
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching. Till next time.